When I came here, I came alone. I left my wife at home with my son. That was on the 1st of April of 2018. A move from a third world country to a first world country where entirely nobody is tough. It's hard. It's difficult. So we had one friend who, helped us through the process, and this is how God has seemingly been more than amazing. We made a decision that my wife and my son would come here immediately because it was no longer safe. Now, you see, I just moved here 2 weeks ago. I am unemployed. I have no job. I have no papers. And now I want my wife and my son to come, and I'm living with somebody. Look at the dilemma right there. And that's a bit hard. So my friend paid for my wife's ticket. The lady with whom I was living, whom I had just met, paid for my son's ticket. That was the first instance of God working and people being generous towards my family. They have no clue how that changed the direction and the life of my family. So one issue remained is I was living with somebody. Now this lady wasn't comfortable with me living with my family in her house. She had a big house. But then just a week before my family came, she sat me down and said, Josh, this is a big house. We have 5 rooms and I barely live here. I'm always at work. You can live here with your family for as long as you want. I told her, thank you, but I have a 3-year-old who's going to run around, break your TVs, do this. She's like, it's a TV. We can buy another one. Eventually we found a place that was willing to take me without a social security number, without a government issued ID, just my passport. That's all they needed. And it was a really nice place. So I said, now we found a place. Now what? And before I know it, my friend paid a deposit, and then she paid up the rent for the house, and then she got a loan and bought everything in the house, the chairs, the beds, the cups, the plates, the comb. Her husband gave me one of his old TVs. He gave me my first extension. I say, these people are really generous. That's how blessed we were. Look at that, no struggle. Even if we don't have, God was gracious enough to make somebody generous towards my family and I, So then Pastor Brandon and I, we caught up and, we decided to meet up. And then he became my godfather, he was my American dad. So whenever I had something I wasn't sure about, I had a discussion with Brandon so that, he could walk me through the process before I can, accomplish it. So I let him know, I say, hey, we are having a baby. Now we have no clue what's going on. Now we cannot make it to pay for our work permit. So I tell Brandon, I say, hey Brandon, there are 2 things. Either we can apply for a green card, that's gonna be maybe $6,000. Or we can apply to renew our green card, which is maybe $2,500 or $3,000, depending on some actions that are yet to be decided. Brandon said, well, that's easy. We're gonna have a fundraising for you for $6,000. I said, Brandon, I didn't tell you so we can have a fundraising. The people of this church have been generous enough to me and my family. No need to push them any further. He said, Ugandans, you are so proud. I said, Brandon, I'm not proud. I'm being considerate. When people help you, you don't want to bother them. He said, Josh, you know how much people love you? I said, I do. That's why they've been helping me. He said, well, do you know how much more they want to help you? The generosity that the people at Campus Church have exhibited towards my family is too much to quantify. When my son was born, they did a baby shower for him. He had enough clothes and diapers and wipes for a year. We did not buy clothes, diapers, or wipes for a year. Sometimes I think it's not faith that drives your belief in God. It's the need, it's the desperation, because at the time I said, God, now would be a very good time for you to show up. When I pray, it was from my heart because I had no other option. I didn't know Brandon. I didn't know anybody here. It was just John and my friend. That was it. And sometimes I sit back and I say, God, how do you do it? So the way the people at campus are generous towards my family is impossible to quantify, irrespective of how they give it, whether it's in kind or in cash. It has impacted my family in a way I cannot tell to this moment. The gratitude that my heart has is impossible to express. I only wish I could, but all I can say is thank you. It's been great.